Hey, welcome back to the channel. I have another golf ball review for you today, and we're reviewing one of the big boys, top of the line. That, of course, being the Taylormade TP5. Let's dive in. Okay, so most of the time on my channel, I don't review golf balls, the top of the line very often. I really like to focus on two-piece golf balls, intermediate, direct-to-consumer, all that kind of stuff. But every once in a while, I do like to test these golf balls just to kind of show, what it means to have an average swing speed and use these golf balls, and if they're really worth the high price tags. I have had some luck. For example, the Srixon Z-Stars I've had really good success with, and both those golf balls I would definitely recommend. And also even the Callaway Chrome Soft, which is a golf ball I game pretty regularly now based on the numbers. So it is possible to play a tour ball with an average swing speed and have a really good result from it. You don't always have to have a really fast swing speed, but there's also been some duds. There's been some Pro V1s, which with an average swing speed, there's no point. Also, any type of X model golf ball hasn't been really successful either. So it really just depends. It really just depends on the golf ball manufacturer, what they do the compression at, who they're intending it for. Now I will say I am a little nervous about the TP5 just because TaylorMade already has so many other golf balls in between. They have, a two-piece distance golf ball. They have your soft response. They have your, tour response, which is, of course, more of your intermediate play or average swing speed, but having the same spin and having more tour level reaction just at a lower price. And then comes the TP5 and the TP5X. I would expect the TP5 to be able to be played with a medium to high swing speed based on the fact that they do have an X model. However, I know from experience that the X model is pretty rockish. It's pretty hard, which makes me believe that the 5 might actually just be a little step below that, which would still be hard. It would still be firm. It is a golf ball that I've used in the past. I do love how it spins. It's got 5 layers. I can't find a golf ball out there that spins more than this one. But I've never actually ran the numbers and compared the numbers and done anything like that. So I'm excited to dive in. I'm excited to try it. But let's start with the basics here, which is the price tag. It's going to come in at $49.99. Now, I will say that every once in a while you can catch it on sale. I did notice that Dick's right now is running you can get 4 dozen for $150. You essentially get a dozen free out of it. It's buy 3, get 1 free, which actually, if you're someone who plays tour golf balls regularly and you use the same golf ball, that's actually a really good deal because you can get that price tag down to more like $37 a dozen, somewhere in there. So that's actually pretty good, especially for a tour grade golf ball. You're getting one for free. But if you're just buying 1 dozen and you're buying the 50, that means that it is going to have to be held to a pretty high standard just because of the price point. I'll be real honest with you. I just don't anticipate on me compressing it very well. Hopefully the numbers will be different, but with that price tag, it's going to have to really do well. But let's start in with the design of the golf ball. Let's see how they did. TaylorMade has a wonderful logo. I love how they do that T in TaylorMade. This is just all black, really professional. You go around to the side there. I'm a little disappointed in this alignment tool. Now, I will give TaylorMade a pass because they do have the TP5 picks, and they have all kinds of designs. Mainly the one, there's the Ricky Fowler edition, basically is the one that you can kind of line your ball up. Now, it's not my favorite alignment tool. It still can be kind of tricky to see. I think that they've made vast improvements over the years, especially like with their 360 stripe they have on the Tour Response. I think that one's a little bit better. I think it's more pleasing to the eye as far as lining up a golf ball. But they do make the picks, and they also make them in all kinds of, they do college teams, NBA teams, they do all kind of bacon and eggs. I mean, they do all kinds of stuff, so they have a really cool design there. So I'll give them a pass on the alignment tool for now. Other than that, it feels really premium. Feels like a nice thick coat of urethane. The dimples look really, well designed, well cut. It just feels, looks, and breathes like a very premium golf ball, as it should. It costs that. So overall, great job with the design. Let's get out to the chipping and putting green. Let's see how we did out there. And again, normally, if you're new to the channel, I would normally go out to the chipping and putting green, and I'd have a lot of B footage, and I'd be out there kind of showing you what the golf ball does and telling you about it. Unfortunately, right now we are in Florida's rainy season, and that's kind of where we're at. It's raining and thundering outside. It has been for a couple days. So unfortunately, I'm not able to go out there, but I have no problem explaining to you how the golf ball felt. Let's start with the wedge. It feels really firm. It feels really firm. It's definitely a firmer golf ball than like your Callaway Chrome Soft or even your Srixons. Those golf balls feel a little bit more spongy. This is pretty firm. It's going to have a press to it, it's going to have a click, and if you mishit it, you're going to know it immediately on how it feels. It has an immediate feel of, hey, you messed up. I mean, it almost screams it at you. And so that can be good, that can be bad, but it's definitely something for advanced players. It's something low handicap, not mid handicap, not, you know, 9, 10 handicap. I mean, it's got to be 5 handicap or lower. That's something that you really want, because you don't want that lack of forgiveness. You want to be able to every once in a while mishit it a little bit and still get a good roll out of it. Not the case here. On the other end of that, though, I will talk about the spin, which is pretty much one of the best in the game. I can't get any golf ball to spin more than this. It's really spinny. It grips really well. And to be honest with you, if there was any golf ball I can think of that I've tested that might rival it, it would be one of the Bridgestone golf balls. I think I can't say the names, I'm so sorry. It's like Tour BSX something. It's the under 105 one that is the Tour line grade. It spun really well, but I would say this is pretty darn close, if not the best, when it comes to spin. You can get a lot of spin, a lot of checkup. There's no forgiveness with the spin, so if you do close the face a little bit, it's going to jolt left. If you open it, it's going to go right. It'll go any direction you pretty much try to get it to, but again, that's a low handicap thing. You got to be able to know where you're going to spin it, know what you're trying to do, know how to get your ball flight where you want it. It will do all those things, and it'll do it masterfully, but if you're not sure how to do that, you're going to see a lot of weird hits, and your ball's going to be doing some jumping that you're not expecting. So overall, really good around the green in that regard. Now, as far as the putter feel, the putter feel actually is pretty decent. TaylorMade's done a really good job. It is more firmer than a lot of the other golf balls just because of the 5 layers. Anytime you have 5 layers on a golf ball, it's going to be really difficult to get it to feel soft at all. It definitely makes a click. You can definitely hear it, but it doesn't make as much of a click as I thought it would. The TP5, it's like a really loud click a lot of the time, or at least it used to be. This one wasn't as bad, so it's not a super hard, you know, and I'll show the meter there just to give you an idea. It's not a super hard click. It's definitely a lot softer than I thought it would be, but it's still a 5-layer golf ball. I think they did the best they really could with it. So overall, really good stuff around the green, but it's definitely for your low handicap. I was definitely having trouble. I had trouble getting the ball near the hole a lot of the time because even though I'm around a 9 to 10 handicap, I still have mishits. I still sometimes close the face a little too much. I sometimes have it a little open, and the golf ball was kind of jumping here and there, and especially on the course, sometimes it was jumping, doing things I didn't want it to do. Sometimes it was stopping a lot sooner than I expected it to just because it has so much checkup. So it's something that you have to play with for a long time and really get used to the feel, used to the spin, used to how it reacts, and then go from there. But that's also barring the fact that you can actually strike it consistently. So overall, decent around the green, but just keep that in mind. All right, and then as far as the feel off the irons, firm, really firm. Starting with, you know, like the 9-iron, the wedges, short irons, anything like that, very, very firm. It doesn't feel like it's coming off very hot at all. When you get to the 7-iron, same thing. If you do absolutely flush it with the 7-iron, and I mean just perfect in the sweet spot, it feels okay. But other than that, not really. Once you get to the hybrid, the 5 hybrid specifically for me, it felt okay at that point. I was able to hit it. It had pretty good compression. I was starting to compress it a little bit better. And then the driver feel was okay as well, but very loud. It came off very loud. It's definitely a firmer golf ball. It actually reminds me of a lot of X golf balls, and I would make the argument that there are some X golf balls that are softer and feel a lot more squishier than this, which this is not the X golf ball. This is just the regular TP5. For example, the Chrome Soft X, very squishy, very soft, came off the club pretty hot despite the fact that I wasn't compressing it all the way. This one felt a lot firmer than that. So again, 5 layers, really firm feel, loud. If that turns you off already, you're not gonna like it. But let's get into the numbers and let's see how we did. Starting off with the 9-iron, I'm a little nervous, I'm going to be honest with you, because I just don't think I'm going to compress this golf ball very well. That's before I tested it, that's kind of the mindset I went in, but I just did my normal swing. I didn't try to overpower or anything. Here's what we ended up with: 86.4 on your ball mile per hour speed, which is extremely abysmally low, 119.3 on your total distance, 110.8 on the carry, which is about a 10-yard loss, 7 to 10 really. And I'll be honest with you, it's just tough. It's not, and I'm sorry, real quick, it's a 20.2 launch as well. That's actually a little bit lower of a launch, which is pretty common for a tour ball. You know, losing 7 to 10 yards is pretty tough. It really is, especially considering the forgiveness on this golf ball, even from the rip, was pretty poor. If I mishit the 9-iron, it was only going about 105, 100. My normal, if you're new to the channel, I mean, my average is 119.3 carry, 126 total. So I'm losing quite a bit. There just wasn't a lot of forgiveness there. I wasn't compressing it at all. My question from here on out would be how long till I have to get in the clubs until I actually can compress it decently. My guess is going to be the hybrid based on the field test. We'll see going into the 7-iron, 7,092 RPM. That is a lot of spin. That is a ton of spin. So definitely going to be able to stick a green. I don't feel like I compressed it all the way and I still got that much spin. So the TP5 is definitely one of the most spinningest golf balls I've ever hit. 104.2 is really low on my ball speed. I'm still just not compressing it well. 154.8, which is a loss of about 5.5 yards. 142.6, which is about, again, 5.5 yards. Actually, no, that's 6 yards on the dot. And then a 20.2 launch, which actually is a high launch for a 7-iron. So we had low with the 9, now we have high with the 7. A little inconsistent there. But reality, I'm just not compressing it that well. I'm not getting the full effect of the golf ball because it's just not compressing. It happens. We're not there yet. This is definitely going to be for a faster swinger. If I had to guess, minimum 100. I mean, minimum 100, maybe even 102, 103, but minimum 100, we'll say. That might be something I want to test later in the channel. If I could find somebody with a faster swing speed, I'd love to test it out. But for now, we're just stuck with me, I guess, at 92. Getting into the 5 hybrid, hopefully it compresses better here. 4229 on your spin, which is still really good spin with a hybrid. 119.4 on your ball mile per hour speed, which is fantastic. That is super fast, which means now we're compressing it. 197, I gained 5 yards. 183.5, I gained 5 yards. And it launched 15.4, which is higher than my average, which is awesome. I love launching high with the hybrid. Those are actually really good numbers across the board. And like I said before, this is where the golf ball actually started to feel okay. Not great, not how I'm used to golf balls feeling, not how I would prefer them to feel, but it started to feel a lot better for sure. Last but not least, we will get into the driver. 2,875 on your spin, which is just a little above average. 247.5. That's actually 5.5 yards more than my average. So I did gain some distance off the driver. 136.1, which, yeah, as you can see, that's definitely higher than my average. I love that. And 227, again, 5 yards is gained. So 5 yards gained overall with the driver on average, and it even launched just slightly higher than my average. Those are really good numbers across the board. So that's kind of what I thought. I didn't know exactly when I would start compressing it, but that's kind of how I figured it would go. It's such a firm golf ball. I figured, you know, the short irons, the mid irons were going to be but once you get into the hybrids and woods and things like that, it was going to be a lot better, and it was. So real quick, before I give you my closing thoughts on what all that means, we'll go into durability, and I got to say, Taylormade has done a phenomenal job with this. It is not the best I've ever tested. Snell is still going to hold on to that, but this is a close second. I mean, this ball does have Snell's fingerprints all over it because, you know, they used a lot of his designs from the Penta line and things like that to basically make this golf ball. You can definitely see his fingerprints all over it. And, you know, it feels really good. I mean, despite being hit into a net 50 times, it still feels phenomenal. It feels really smooth. There's a couple of dirt scratches here and there, but nothing that would stop you from playing the golf ball. Easy could get a round and a half out of this, 2 rounds probably, depending on if you hit any cart paths, things like that. But yeah, really good there. Perfect 5 out of 5. Not the best ever, but probably a close second. All right, so what does this mean? What do all these numbers mean? Well, just like a lot of tour golf balls I review on my channel, the main thing I'm trying to test a tour golf ball is to say, hey, does it work with an average swing speed? And a lot of the time the answer is no. Sometimes the answer is yes. Here the answer is no. This isn't going to work. It also, I mean, there is going to be other factors as well as far as like what course you play, you know, what's your average, you know, second approach shot. Are you 180 yards out? Are you 200 yards out? But the reality is, if you're an average golfer, a weekend warrior, mid-handicap, even mid-low-ish, you know, 10, whatever, you should be playing from the white tees. You shouldn't be playing from the blue. I'll save that rant for a different video, but you should be playing the normal tees. And I got to be honest with you, most of the time my second approach shot is maybe an average of 110 yards, 120. So having a golf ball like this that I lose yards on my short and mid irons wouldn't do me a lot of good. I mean, it would get me some more spin on the golf course, but really 7,000 RPM compared to 6,500 from a couple of the other golf balls I've tested, not enough to warrant the 10-yard loss. Now, if I was playing in a scramble tournament, would I be, you know, tempted to use this golf ball off the driver a little bit and then, you know, use a different golf ball for the approach shot if we didn't have to use mine? Sure, but that's kind of a weird case. But as far as using it by yourself, every shot, it's just not going to be for an average swinger. It's going to be for 100 plus for sure. Now, if you are a golfer that does swing 100 plus and you are looking for a tour level golf ball, you're someone who strikes the golf ball pure almost every single time, 9 out of 10 times, you're looking for a lot of spin, you're looking for the golf ball to really bend to your will and do what you want to, and you know, your dad owns a law firm or whatever and money's not an issue, this actually could be a really good golf ball for you. It's honestly one of my favorites. If I was a tour level golfer who legit, you know, was swinging 115 and I was on tour, PGA, this would be a golf ball I would be looking at really hard. I love the fact that it has the 5 layers. I love the amount of spin I can get from it. I like the feel a little bit better than the Pro V1, but that's a personal preference thing. But again, we're talking you have to be almost a scratch golfer. You have to strike the iron really good every single time. And even the driver, you know, it's something I talk to my buddy Alex about all the time because he used to love these golf balls and he bought a bunch of them back in the day. But we talk about it even, we joke still on the course, there's just no forgiveness there. You mishit it, you lose tons of yards. But not only do you lose tons of yards, you accidentally close your face a little too fast, you've hooked it. And I don't mean hooked it, I mean 2 fairways over hooked it. You accidentally slice it a little bit, come over the top, you're a fairway or 2 over to the right, and that's no forgiveness. If you're an average golfer, you gotta have something that's gonna straighten out a little bit, have a little less side spin. You might have to sacrifice the 5 yards, but 5 yards back and in the fairway is a lot better than 5 yards further and 2 fairways over. So, guys, as always, I appreciate it. Keep watching to keep saving and keep learning. Until next time.